Today I'm returning to my old home city of Frankfurt-am-Main. Here you can find the Frankfurt U-Bahn, but it isn't really a proper U-Bahn system. It would be more accurately described as a Stadtbahn system, with sections of suburban tramway and an underground tunnel like those in Cologne and Hanover. When the U-Bahn was built between the 1960s and 80s, the city planned for the system to completely replace surface trams, but the citizens of Frankfurt protested and petitioned, and so the Frankfurt Straßenbahn survived, and still today runs as a separate system to the U-Bahn. We'll start with the Straßenbahn. I first rode from Hauptbahnhof to Festhalle Messe. And we're now going to pop over to our hotel to drop off our bags. And then we'll just kind of decide what to do later on.
Nächste Haltestelle. Platz der Republik. Umsteigemöglichkeit zu den Straßenbahnlinien 11, 14 und 21.
Nearby is Bockenheimer Warte, served by both the tram and the U-Bahn, where an old tram depot can be seen. So here we are at Bockenheimer Warte, and this is a building, the Bockenheimer Depot, which, as we've just discovered, was an old tram depot. It's now an events venue. Did we go here? We also saw some trams while walking around the centre, and I went off to look for the loop next to the Hauptbahnhof. I travelled from Hauptbahnhof to Ludwig-Erhard-Anlage and back. Whilst walking to a laundrette, I also passed part of the Route 16, which at the time was closed for reconstruction. Finally, I travelled from Schwalbacher Strasse back to the Hauptbahnhof. This is one of those invisible stops where the tram just stops in the middle of the road and you just get on. In fact, I think the stop is actually over there. One of the problems with invisible stops is that it's not always obvious where they are because, you know, they're invisible. Is the tram even going to stop? See what I mean? I have many memories of the Frankfurt U-Bahn from my childhood. Like the Stadtbahn system in Hanover, which I've covered in a previous video, the network is split into 3 tunnels, A, B and C. Line A, carrying lines U1, 2 and 3, runs north-south from Südbahnhof through Willy-Brandt-Platz and Hauptwache up to the northwest. Line B, carrying U4 and U5, does a sort of loop through the city centre from Bockenheimer Wart through Hauptbahnhof, Willy-Brandt-Platz and Comstabloach, while my old local Line C, carrying U6 and U7, runs from Pronheim and Hausen in the west to Ostbahnhof and Enkheim in the east. Within Frankfurt city centre, Line C runs alongside the S-Bahn city tunnel, which I'll talk about later. Like in Hanover, there was also a Line D which was never fully built, though parts of it exist within the system. The section between Hauptbahnhof and Bockenheimer Wart, for example, was never intended to be part of the Line B, but rather Line D, and the Hauptbahnhof was designed for the 2 lines to cross. The Hauptbahnhof contains 4 platforms, 3 of which are in use. The 4th platform is locked out of use with these barriers, behind one of which is an old vehicle which has been parked and is used for fire training. Line D was set to continue south, though this was never built, and Line B was due to continue west. This extension should be built in the near future, with Line U5 currently terminating at the Hauptbahnhof, set to run west to Wohnpark. Further to the north, the terminus of Line U1 and U9 at Ginheim appears to be facing the wrong direction, with Line U1 having to do a massive loop to the north in order to get access to the city centre. This is because this section was also originally part of Line D, and you can see a clear gap between Bockenheimer Wörth and Ginheim, where the line was planned to run. This section is currently served by trams on the surface, but there are ambitions to finish this section of U-Bahn in the future. Anyway, I digress. Our tour of the U-Bahn begins at Bockenheimer Wörth, which has a rather memorable entrance. All U-Bahn station entrances are equal, but some are more equal than others. And this is definitely one of the more exciting entrances to Bockenheimer Wörth, which is the U-Bahn station. We've basically just walked around, and have been walking around for the past hour or two. It's this is brilliant. Who made this and why? And can I shake their hand? Because this is just good. I love this. I travel from Bockenheimer Wörth to Willy Brandt-Platz and then to Festhalle-Messe. It's like Piccadilly Circus, but yeah, it's enormous. I travel from West End to Hauptwache and then from Dom Romer to Festhalle-Messe. I travel from Festhalle-Messe to the Hauptbahnhof, and then from Konstablerwacht to my old local station of Große-Nelkenstrasse, and then from nearby Industriehof to Outer Opera, and then finally back from Outer Opera, changing at Bockenheimer Wörth to Festhalle-Messe.
Nächste Station. Große Straße. Ausstieg Fahrtrichtung rechts.
I travel from Festhal-Messe to Hauptbahnhof and the following day make the same journey again. I then go from Willibrandplatz to Bockenheimer Wort. We're now on our way to the Hauptbahnhof. They're off to the airport, but I've got another night in Frankfurt. I then decide to spend an afternoon exploring the area around where I used to live a little more, taking the U-Bahn from West End to Hausen, then back down to Industriehof and up to the terminus of the U7 at Pronheim. The U6 and U7 have recently been swapped around. I used to remember the U7 running to Hausen and the U6 running to Pronheim. Both the Hausen and Pronheim branches of the U-Bahn Line C were converted from old tram lines. At Industriehof you can see tracks continuing on the surface while the U-Bahn ducks underground. Looking on a map, you can see this strange piece of tramway connecting the U-Bahn to the Straßenbahn. The answer to why lies at the end of the U7, where a small piece of track continues to Pronheim depot, where both U-Bahn and Straßenbahn trams are maintained. Hence this section exists to allow trams to reach the depot. In the depot, some old U-Bahn rolling stock, including the P-trams, can be seen, which I remember operating on the U6 and U7 back in the 2000s.
Straße. Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung rechts. Nächste Station. Pausen. Fahrtende. Bitte aussteigen. Umsteigemöglichkeit zur U-Bahn 72.
So here I am at the end of the line in Hausen. Terminus of the U6 was, till recently, the terminus of the U7. From here you can carry on by bus to the Northwest Centrum, which was our local shopping centre.
Nächste Station. Große Nelkenstraße. Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung rechts. Nächste Station.
Die rufen mich aber an, dann rufe ich dich an. Sie soll klingeln. Könntest du dann, wärst du so lieb,
in Richtung
entgegennehmen?
vom gegenüberliegenden Bahnsteig sowie zur U-Linie 34.
Ja, das ist
Ausstieg
ich
in
weiß nicht, ob sie noch warten will oder nicht. Also ich bin jetzt auf dem Weg. Ich versuche so schnell wie möglich da zu sein, was... Ja, weil es riecht doch bestimmt total. Ich bin voll allergisch auf Nikotin.
So I'm here at Industriehof, where the U on that side, the U6 and the U7 split, and here they go down into a tunnel, but you can see that on either side the tracks themselves carry on the surface. So here I am at Trondheim Strasse, terminus of the U7, but unlike Hausen, here the tracks carry on. And that's because they lead to the depot. It's about a 17-minute walk away, but there might also be a bus I can hop on, and we'll try and find out. I make my way to the Northwest Centrum, where I pick up the awkward northern section of the never-completed Line D, taking the U1 all the way to Hauptwache. Later that day, I travelled from Hauptbahnhof to Willy-Brandt-Platz, and then from Schweizerplatz back up to Hauptwache.
Umsteigemöglichkeit zur Linie 3 in Richtung Oberursel-Hohenbach und zur Grenze 8 in Richtung.
Finally, let's move on to Frankfurt's S-Bahn, or to give it its proper name, the Rhine-Main S-Bahn, centred around Frankfurt but also serving the nearby cities of Mainz, Wiesbaden, Offenbach, Hanau and Darmstadt. Like Munich, the network is centred around a purpose-built tunnel through the city, running from underground through platforms at the Hauptbahnhof, through Hauptwache and Konstablerwache, before crossing the Main, with one line heading east to Offenbach and another heading south to the Südbahnhof. Part of the city tunnel, as mentioned before, runs alongside the U-Bahn Line C. We used the S-Bahn to travel from Hauptbahnhof to Hanau-Steinheim, and then back to Konstablerwache. Or we could just wait for our train. Oh well, we missed the final.
What language does she speak?
Croatian.
Croatian, yeah.
9 or 15.
9. That would be very uncanny. How did we know that the Offenbach was...
Is it called the Nürburgring?
Who knows?
If it's a funicular train, then yes.
Wiesbaden,
Yes.
and it must be that one, yeah. It's very interesting. It's quite unique. Steinheim for a dinner, and we looked
That's
at the
a
house.
remarkably precise memory.
Yeah.
That sounds very
Yes.
suspicious, given that it is 24th of October. Actually, I was like,
you
okay,
don't.
I'll go with the theme now. So I was in there
Yeah.
about half an hour, and amazing, as I came out, I was like, another plane's going to another plane's going to the 2 hours. I was like, okay, really nice to meet you. See you later. Bye. Yeah, and then I sort of jumped in the cab to the airport.
Hey,
and obviously there was like the main
Steinheim.
thing.
Steinheim, yeah.
Here we are at Hanau, not Hanau Hauptbahnhof, but Hanau Steinheim. Steinheim being the smaller town near Hanau where we actually lived. So for the purpose of simplicity we would just say we lived in Hanau, or even just Frankfurt.
Nächster Halt, Dietesheim. Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung links.
No idea.
Nächster Halt, Mülheim. Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung links. Nächster Halt, Offenbach Ost. Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung links.
Next stop,
22nd
Offenbach
Lounge,
Ost.
Bad
Exit to
Neumann
the
is
left in
Strasse.
the direction of Tram.
The next day, my dad and I travelled from the Hauptbahnhof west to Wiesbaden and then back to Ostenstrasse.
Oh yeah.
Nächster Halt, Niederrad. Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung links. S9 nach Wiesbaden Hauptbahnhof. Nächster Halt, Frankfurt-Main Flughafen. Regionalbahnhof.
Next stop, Frankfurt Airport.
Must have been here before.
S9 nach Wiesbaden Hauptbahnhof. Nächster Halt, Kelsterbach. Nächster Halt, Rüsselsheim. Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung rechts.
Next stop, Rüsselsheim. Exit to the right in the direction of travel.
Just crossed the line.
S9 nach Wiesbaden Hauptbahnhof. Nächster Halt, Wiesbaden Hauptbahnhof. Diese Zugfahrt endet dort. Wir bitten alle Fahrgäste auszusteigen.
Next stop, Wiesbaden Main Station. This train terminates here. Please alight.
Hello, it's Friday morning. We've come to Wiesbaden. We're here at Wiesbaden Hauptbahnhof, which is a surprisingly large station. It looks about the size of Liverpool Lime Street for a city that I think is considerably smaller. It's at the end of the Rhine-Main S-Bahn, lines 1, 8 and 9. Anyway, we've not come to see Wiesbaden itself, rather we've come to see a funicular railway. Because of course.
Sehr geehrte Fahrgäste, die Deutsche Bahn begrüßt Sie auch im Namen des Rhein-Main-Verkehrsverbundes. Wir wünschen Ihnen eine angenehme Fahrt. Nächster Halt, Mainz Nord. Ausstieg in Fahrtrichtung links.
Just cross the Main twice. Or is this this must be an island in the middle or something. Major port. Mainz. Yeah.
Next stop, Rhine-Main Station.
Okay, yeah.
And we've already had quite a few.
Time for lunch. Finally, I used the S-Bahn to travel from Hauptwacht to the Hauptbahnhof. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.